that this video does not freeze up like my last one did. Tonight, we're talking about the slasher genre. Probably my favorite subgenre of horror, bar none. It's what I grew up on. And tonight we are being joined with a lemon ginger tea, which I'm drinking out of my FOP mug. So if you have a FOP in your area in the UK, definitely check it out. They put out a lot of really good stuff with the really great deals. No, I'm not sponsored. I wish, but I just hope that they're still in business when I go back to the UK. Now my hair's a bit of a mess, but it's hard getting used to my new diet. So I did tweet out that I was going to be making this video. If anybody sees my tweets, I'm not quite sure. So tell you what, let's just do like a little Instagram and see if anybody sees any of those. All right. We'll see. I have been trying to make some videos here for you guys as well, I've been off and haven't been feeling the best. I still have been trying to make sure that we get content that hopefully you guys are going to like on the channel. Now, the movie club is pretty empty tonight, so I guess I'm just going to have to go on and start it, and hopefully some of you guys will join in. You never know. Anyway, tonight we're talking about the slasher genre. And I love slasher films. But what brought this about? What brought me about talking about the slasher ones? And I'm going to be talking about some of the regulars, the tropes and stuff like that too. But I also wanted to talk about like more of the stuff that may have fallen on the wayside. And if you're a newer horror collector, if you're a newer slasher collector, then some of these here will be kind of a fun way for you to actually dive into some films maybe that you didn't know about before. And that's kind of part of the big deal with all this. Well, I was on Facebook, and I was upstairs, and I was just roaming on my Facebook, and it was on one of the Facebook things, and they were talking about like part 5s of famous films, and they went against like part 5 of Halloween, which is not a well-liked part of Halloween, and there's part 5 of Friday the 13th, which for some reason, and I'm not quite sure why, is not always the best liked. It's not one of the more liked Friday 13th films, but a comment came across that kind of like that irked me, and it was just a simple comment, and opinion's opinion. And it was like, I don't like part 5. Jason's not in it. It sucks. And that's kind of the point. Not that it's sucking, no, but Jason not being in it. I still, back in the day, Friday the 13th part 5 was pretty much like, was hated on because, hey Rich, how's it going? We're talking slasher films tonight. Hopefully that's the genre you like. Because Jason wasn't in it, and I never really got that. And I'll tell you why I didn't get that, because I grew up watching them in the theaters like most people my age did. The annoying part was that part 4 was called The Final Chapter. Jason was killed. It was set up for somebody else to take over. So when the 5th one came around, I was kind of surprised to see the hockey mask. But I was pleasantly surprised. When they introduced Tommy Jarvis, I thought, like a lot of people did, oh, maybe Tommy Jarvis is going to be the killer in part 5. If I spoil this for you at this point, I'm sorry, you should have seen it by now. But you can skip a couple minutes ahead if that's the case, and you're watching this on basically taped rather than live. But obviously, it's really obvious in the movie that it's not Tommy Jarvis, and it's this guy. It's Rye. That's the killer in part 5. they kind of went back to the mystery aspect. They went back to what they did with part 1, and they were trying to kind of reboot it and give like the psychologically scarred Tommy in the first one, and they were kind of, hey Prowler, how's it going? I'm talking slasher films tonight, and something that irked me that I read today. And part 5 was supposed to be that stamp that was going to seal Tommy to be the next Jason, pretty much be the next serial killer for Friday the 13th. It was going to be Tommy. He had all this like mask and like special effects type of like skills that he did. In part 5, they showed his strength and kind of his I guess his combat experience, his like kind of martial arts stuff. So they had really set it up for Tommy to go on and be like the killer in part 6. However, a lot of people are really not happy with that. I wasn't one of those people. I was stoked for part 6 to come and see Tommy and just see them go in a different direction, because I like the fact that Jason was one of the few killers that although he took a lot of damage, he was real. He wasn't a supernatural killer. I never took it as him like having risen from the grave or anything like that. I always thought, okay, couldn't swim very well, made his way to the other side. That's what part 2 set up, yada, yada, yada. But they went in the direction with the zombie Jason. And I really think that although they made like 6 and 7 were actually solid films, they killed the series. It killed the franchise because they didn't know where to go after that. Like, Jason goes out, right. They didn't know where to go once the zombie Jason came into it. He wasn't scary, in my opinion. Now, some people thought Zombie Jason was super scary. For me, the whole realism of it is kind of what I find scary. That's why I like a lot of the slasher films. That's why the supernatural slasher films took a while to catch on with for me. Anyway, that little comment on Facebook started this whole video tonight, so that's why we're talking slasher films. So if you are a bona fide slasher fan, hey, and ready? Dude, I got to ask you a question. You live in Ontario, right? And thank you so much. My better half did the best part of that review. I was just along for the ride, and I want to get her in to another one. You live in Ontario. I'm not sure what area you live in, but do you know Bay Street Video? It's in Toronto. I am taking a trip, and shout out to Toronto, very soon. And I'm right in, like, going to be right in Toronto, right in like the Bay Street, Bloor area, that type of place, right? So, but the one, and I was looking for video source. I want to go video like hunting while I'm there. And the one that stood out was Bay Street, because I watched a guy doing a tour of there, going to like my first time Bay Street Video. This YouTuber, I wish I knew his name because he did a really good video. And I paused things and ready all throughout the video, and they had like every company that I could think of, from Vinegar Syndrome to Severin to like Scream Factory. You're outside of Detroit. Why did I think you're in Ontario? Dude, I really did think you're in Ontario. I don't know why. But I did, dude. So I guess you don't know then. Do you know anybody from Ontario? I know Robert Harding is in Ontario, but he doesn't show up in these videos a lot. So, so I thought you'd know. I seem to think that did you take a trip to Ontario? Did we have to Toronto Explore, something like that? Anyway, let's get on with this. We are talking slasher films tonight. So what I wanted to do is go through like a few different slashers. Basically, I got a bunch of them here. Some of my favorites, some just like super cheesy stuff, but all ones that I think should be in everybody's collection. So I got a few DVDs here, but mostly these are Blu-ray. But I'm going to go through some of these fairly fast. You guys can stop me whenever you want. In Windsor, Ontario. Because I have been to Windsor. That's an area that I have been to. And Windsor's close to Detroit. Because I never went from, Okay. Anyway, if you have any recommendations of chain stores in the Ontario area, feel free to comment in the comment section down below, because I'm definitely not going to remember from here. But yeah, so I'm going to be right in Ontario. Yes, I did. If you're talking about Ghostbusters, I'll just get this kind of out of the way right now. So Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son, is doing Ghostbusters. They're doing a new Ghostbusters, and it should be fun. I mean, I'm not sure who's doing it, but I don't know why people are. Some people are very excited about it, and they're more. I guess they're more excited than the. Did you see the 2016 Ghostbusters? Like, is that one that you liked as well, or you just like the '84 one, or? Okay, so me, I went to, like, probably like you, Rich. I went to the theater, saw Ghostbusters back in the day, and I saw the 2016 one. Thought it was okay. I definitely didn't have like the hatred that some people had. It always kind of like, I find it kind of unusual that one film can somehow ruin a person's childhood. There must be some like huge nostalgia factor out there, but yeah, no, actually, it seems kind of fun. I want to see who's going to be casted in it. Hopefully, there'll be some cameos from the original actors as well, like they did in the 2016 one. Do you really think so? I don't think they can, and not because I don't think the Ghostbusters can be remade, but honestly, because Ghostbusters was a film, and I'll be completely honest, that had the right director and the right cast at the right time with the right writing. So they can make similar, but I don't think they can ride the nostalgia wave. I think that the 2016 one tried to ride the nostalgia wave, maybe a little bit too much, and should have made it more of its own. But in Ghostbusters 2, actually, a lot of people were. Like, people like Ghostbusters 2 more than they liked Ghostbusters, the 2016 one now. And I'll be honest with you, lightning in a bottle, that's the thing. Hey, culture training. Ghostbusters is definitely one of those lightning in a bottle type of films. And I know one thing that they're probably not going to have in it, and if they do, they're not going to have them in the whole film. Hey, Sculder, I want to thank you, by the way, because that's your tweet for 101 Films, right? And if that's the case, Sculder actually tweeted when he received his 101 film package, and he tweeted the thanks to me, and I really do appreciate that. I don't get a lot of people that actually tweet my channel and tweet stuff like that, so that is highly appreciated, and thank you so much for that, because that does mean a lot to me. It actually made my day on a day when I'm in a lot of freaking pain. But yeah, so Ghostbusters, I'll wait to see, but Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, there's actors that we can't get back. And Bill Murray was kind of like, he was, the funny guy, but the heart of Ghostbusters is gone. He's passed on. Oh, and that's a big factor. And I don't want to be a downer in the whole thing, because I know a lot of people are excited about it. And I am too. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I just hope they don't do the... hope this isn't like the kids of the Ghostbusters. And make it a mix. Like, it doesn't have to be 4 guys or 4 girls. Mix it up. Make, a couple guys, couple girls. Because, we've seen that already. It's been in the cartoon. I'm sorry if anybody gets upset about that, but that's, that's not what you should be upset about. I'm not sure if John Steele's here yet, but he just liked my Instagram thing. So if you're there, John, hi. Anyway, slashers. But yes, I'm hoping Ghostbusters Rich is going to be really good. I do hope that I think that the casting was okay for the 2016 one. The writing wasn't the best. So I'm hoping that they'll at least give a nod to it, because it deserves that at least. So, slasher films. I'm sorry, guys. I keep getting distracted. But let's go through some slashers. And some of these, some people are going to call not slashers or whatever, but I consider them in the slasher genre. I put them up in, was this a giallo? Was this a slasher? What is this exactly? And I went with slashers. So one of my favorites is the Prowler. Now, some people actually have said that you find this one kind of slow right now, which really does surprise me. Because the Prowler was never a slasher that I would consider to be like be a slower one. It was one of the ones that I really enjoyed. It has great special effects by Tom Savini. If you haven't seen it, And actually, it's got a decent cast. Pretty much like a lot of unknowns, but it has like some decent actors in there, like the Farley Granger. Pretty often in a lot of the '80s slash films, what they would do was they would have a cast of like pretty unknown actors, and they would put like one or two actors in here that were from other were famous back in the day. You'll hear me talk about many other like kind of actors, like Western actors and actors like that, as I go through. Farley Granger, of course, was in a fantastic Hitchcock movie, Strangers on a Train, and he does a great job in this movie right here. The Prowler is basically, if you've never seen this, it's about a guy who gets his heart broken when he comes home from the war. He kills his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, and he kills the new guy that she's kind of hooking up with. And years later, wait, or is that My Bloody Valentine? They both had the same plot. Except in My Bloody Valentine, it's like a guy gets put in a mine, and then he gets out and he kills people that are at a Valentine's dance. This is also at a Valentine's type dance, but it's after he gets home from the war. So there you go. By the way, I don't have it over here right now, but My Bloody Valentine is a fantastic slasher film. And if you haven't seen it, either version of it, both the original, which I live really next to where they filmed it at, and the new one, which I don't live next to where they filmed it at, are both fun films to watch. But The Prowler is definitely one that should be in everybody's collection if you're a slasher movie horror fan. This is the Blue Underground DVD edition of it. There are a couple extras. There's a commentary and Tom Savini's behind the scenes gore footage. There is a very fantastic gore scene. If you're a gore hound, then what you're going to really want to see is the ending of this film, because it'll blow your mind, literally. And I stick by that joke. I stick by that joke. Next up is one that some people consider a giallo film. It will, actually, and I am that age. I'm getting up there. I definitely, it's from my era. I watched it, back in the day, on my dinosaur, at the Bedrock Theater. But Stage Fright. A lot of people consider this a giallo film. I don't actually. I consider this a pure slasher film, and it's a good one. It's a really good one. This is done by I'm never gonna get his name right, but I'll say Michel Suave. Stage Fright is a really good film. Of course, there was like a newer slasher film that has nothing to do with this except having the title that deals with a musical slasher. Also a fun watch, but this is a classic. This is one that everybody definitely should own. I'm not hyperbole. It is a fantastic film. Actually, that's the thing. Can you imagine like nowadays, if like being born? It was a great time to be born, Fry. It was a fantastic time. It was a golden age of like horror, and it was like everywhere. Agree with me on Stage Fright? Does that mean you don't agree with me on The Prowler and Ann Redding? Stage Fright is like, it's scary, it's creepy, it's silly, and the mask freaks me out. The owl mask, it does. The killer wears this gigantic owl mask and goes around killing people, and wow. It scared me back then. It still freaks me out a bit now when I watch it, and I'm glad that it does, because it's good to have movies that still actually do kind of freak you out. You go over there. These are not done in any particular order. I'm just hopefully introducing some people to some very good slasher films and reintroducing some people to ones that they already know about. Maniac. Again, this is some people call this a thriller, but no, it definitely falls along the slasher range. And the remake is good as well. I got that over there. I just didn't bring it over with me. Maniac is, of course, Joe Spinell. Another one that I would kind of like put this with. Hey, Tommy Films. I wouldn't actually put this with the new Maniac as a double feature. I would actually double feature this with The Undertaker, with that Vinegar Syndrome put out. Both star Joe Spinell. Both have these kind of creepy, eerie, sweaty greasiness, and that is not a derogatory thing. It's just kind of the way Joe Spinell played these characters. But he did an amazing job. This is like the 2-disc edition. There's like right out there now is a 4K edition. It's a Blu-ray, but it's like a 4K Blu-ray of newly put out. It's got a lenticular cover. Highly recommend it. I don't have it myself, but everything I've heard about that, it's fantastic. Maniac and New York Ripper is an awesome double feature. Doug's World. You you win the double feature lottery for tonight. That's for sure. When am I going to upgrade to Blu-ray on this one? I'm going to Ontario. We'll see. And me too. I need to pick up the Blu-ray of like Zombie too, because I hear it's revolutionary. Trust me, you guys will be the first people to know when I upgrade. Anyway, I'm hoping to do some footage of going around in the shop, so we'll see if I can do that. That's right, Jesse. People should know about Maniac, the original Maniac. Next up is a newer slasher film. I guess you're counting newer. It's on its fourth one, right? Reiteration right now, and that is Hatchet. The Hatchet series is fun. The third one is weak. I do think that it came back with Victor Crowley. I thought he did a really good job with that, especially considering the budget that he did it under. But the original Hatchet, it is definitely awesome. It brings back a lot of the stuff that was missing in the remake slasher films that were put out there. It's gory. If you grew up in the age of Fangorian Gore Zone magazine, then Hatchet probably has a warm little place in your heart. It has Kane Hodder, of course, who had been like Jason for 4 films, and then got unceremoniously taken off of playing the character. It is a really, really good film. A lot of humor in Hatchet. What's really good is that the Hatchet film has a good structure where it's pretty much ran by the same director, except for like he worked on part 3, he did stuff for part 3, but he didn't make part 3. So there's a really nice payoff to the slasher series of films because they follow through on a storyline and they come back to different things. There's actually a really neat thing with Victor Crowley, which is a throwback to like a little scene that's shown in here in part 1. Which if you've seen Victor Crowley, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The character, one of the lead characters in Victor Crowley, is a character that's got a small role. And it's the same actress too, in the first Hatchet film. As you can see, we're not going in any particular order here, but I had to mention Return to Horror High. Definitely, Exploding Heads podcast. Digital. Actually, I've never heard of them before, but I'll check them out definitely. I know I got to watch the latest Just to This because he just announced there's a new one coming out. So yeah, I'll definitely put that on my list. Henry Portrait of Serial Killer, I got that over there too. I should have brought that over. Carol Monroe's gorgeous. But Henry Portrait of Serial Killer and Maniac are almost in a different ilk when it comes to like the slasher film. If you want a triple feature with New York Ripper and Maniac, Massage Parlor Murders. There you go. We've triple featured that one. Because the whole like 42nd Street idea there. So, Return to Horror High, really fun film. And yes, that you are reading that right. George Clooney, isn't this? The Last Horror film. That's a good double feature as well. You guys are coming up with some great ideas tonight. And I do have The Last Horror film over there actually as well. I got the Tro Masterpiece edition of it. Maureen McCormick from the Brady Bunch, right? And Alex Jacoby, Scott Rocco. You got Vince Edwards in this one here. It's super cheesy. It's got a really weird ending, but I like it. I mean, I really like this one. I didn't when I first saw it, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't one that I love the color. Cover actually had the poster of this. This one in Cheerleader Camp, the poster of these two. I must have something for cheerleader skeletons. That must be like some kind of like secret fetish I don't know about. And speaking of cheerleader skeletons, Cheerleader Camp is another fun one. This is much more in the tongue firmly planted through cheek vein with Cheerleader Camp. It's got Betsy Russell. If you don't know who Betsy Russell is, well, Betsy Russell is Angel. She's been in like a private school for girls. So whenever there was an actress like Phoebe Cates that maybe didn't want to take off her shirt again, Betsy Russell, she would do that. She was that kind of girl. And by that kind of girl, I mean awesome. So we got Betsy Russell in this, Leif Garrett, and Lucinda Dickey, of course, who was in a ton of canon productions, including the Breakin' series. So if you've not seen Cheerleader Camp, I don't want to spoil many of these for you. This is a fun one. And if you want to see what Betsy Russell looks like, lost connection for a bit. Hopefully, Haven't lost it on my side. Hopefully it doesn't go. Memory Damaged Brain. I got that one over there too. That's actually a cool film. That is Betsy Russell, and you're welcome. And yes, she is definitely on the Google Doc list. Boo. So, we're reconnected. Can somebody please talk to let me know that they see me right now? Because that will be much appreciated. Good now. Okay, perfect. So I'm not sure what's going on. There's been some weather issues here. Hopefully we're going to get through this one tonight, guys. Last night it ended kind of abruptly. Fade to Black. Definitely check this one out. If you've never seen Fade to Black, please see Fade to Black. Dennis Christopher is amazing in this film. He does a great job. It is a really cool slasher film. It's one that I hope Arrow and Scream, like both. I like to see both of them do it, and I would buy both the collector's editions of this film right here. It seriously needs needs a collector's edition. It is a great film. Hey, welcome back. Or welcome me back, because I lost connection there for a second. A lot of times remakes or reboots or reimaginings do it wrong. One of the exceptions that I can think about right now is it's totally going in my mind, but one of them I got in my hand, so let's go with this one, and that is Silent Night. It is pretty much nothing to do with the original Silent Night series of films at all. It's not the same character, it's not the same genesis, it's not the same origin. It goes in a completely different direction. It's pretty much a killer Santa Claus. Guy just says killer Santa Claus at Christmas time that feels that people need to be punished. That's the connection. That's as far as it goes. But you know what? It's gloriously done. Malcolm McDowell is actually good in this. He's good in all this stuff, but he gets a bit more to work with in this here remake. He's definitely having a blast. This really is a throwback to the 80s style slasher film. This is a throwback to the throw everything out there, throw everything at and see what sticks type of slasher film, and it's actually really well done. I was extremely surprised. I expected nothing from this, but I excellent. I'm always spend money. Kind of like that. See, it's fun. I say give it another shot. I watched this one. I was really pleasantly surprised. It had the nudity quotient, which I do think is important in a lot of slasher films. I was actually asked that recently. It had the gore content, and it didn't take itself too seriously, and it came off much like an 80s slasher film. And I think that's one of the greatest compliments I can give it. Much like Strangers Pray at Night, which is truly 80s slasher film made today. If you, I don't have that one. I'm waiting for Boxing Day to pick that one up. Much like the new Halloween film. But yeah. Definitely check out Strangers Pray at Night if you like the 80s style slasher films. Next up is one that recently came out on Scream Factory. I do have to upgrade this one. And I've got the Anchor Bay edition, and that is the classic Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. When I actually originally got this one, I bought it and looked at the cover and didn't expect much, really. I'll be honest with you. I hadn't heard any of the hype at the time when it came out, and I went in kind of blind, and I'm really glad that I did, because this turned out to be an excellent film. And if you've not checked out Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, definitely check it out. It's really kind of cool. He has basically it's a world where where slasher killers are real, and and he's kind of getting up there, he's trying to make his name as the new slasher killer on the scene. He wants to be up there with Jason and Freddy and Michael and all those guys. He actually is friends with Billy from Black Christmas, who actually shows up in this film with a wife in tow. Nonetheless, so definitely worth checking out if you've never seen Behind the Mask. There's a lot of humor to it, but it also made me think, why the hell wasn't Robert Englund ever chosen to do Loomis? If they recast Loomis, if they ever do a new Loomis, like say they reboot the Halloween films again in the right way, then look right there. Look at that. Does that not like scream Loomis to you? Because that screams Loomis to me. He plays a Loomis-like character in this film. He does it amazingly, and definitely is a guy that I would recommend for the character of Sam Loomis. So now we're going to dive into the Blu-ray stuff. So a lot of people come here to, actually I got a few more DVDs. So we're going to go with a couple more DVDs, and then we'll get some Blu-rays as well. Some of my favorites. Just stuff that I wanted to, that I'll go through actually fairly fast. And there is, of course, Jamie Blank's Storm Warning. This one's highly underrated, guys. This one is not known as well as it should be. If you liked Urban Legend, which recently came out from Scream Factory, which we'll be talking about in a minute there, then you got to see Storm Warning. It's by the same director, and he grew up loving slashers. I got a feeling that me and Jamie Blanks would get along extremely well. He knows his slasher history, and Storm Warning is kind of his, is the other one he did. And there's another one we're going to talk about as well. But I actually really, really dig this film. I'm just going to make sure that is Jamie Blanks, right? Yep, I got it right. So, good. Just want to make sure. But yeah, Jamie Blanks, Storm Warning. If you have not checked this out, guys, it's actually really cool. Dimension Extreme is a label that's very hit and miss. Like really hit and miss. But Storm Warning is one of those that's actually definitely a really cool one. Some people consider it kind of a torture porn type, and I don't. Next up is, do you want to see cheese? Like super, super cheese. Because I'm going to show you something really, really, really cheesy. And I think it's all on one disc too. Okay, yeah. So from Razor Digital Entertainment comes Camp Blood. Now there's more than 3 of these now. This was the original Camp Blood trilogy that Brad Sykes put out. It's got Camp Blood 2, and Within the Woods, which actually, if I remember correctly, that was my favorite back in the day out of the trilogy. It is a masked clown that's going around killing people. If you've never seen this movie, it's super low budget, but it's a ton of fun. It's actually, I think they're actually fairly like short too. They actually seem short, like 74, 75 minutes. Definitely an easy watch. It's not going to take a lot. You're definitely not going to need any brain power watching this film. But I enjoyed it for what it was. It's a lot of fun, and I do like go back to the well of the Camp Blood movies every once in a while, because I do want those just super cheesy, super fun films. I love this movie. You see this here? There's a Blu-ray of this movie. Steer clear. This is Tourist Trap. Tourist Trap is one of the better unknown slasher films ever made, period, out there. It's kind of a combination of the regular slasher and like kind of the slasher in the terms of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not in this list, and I'll tell you why right now. Because I am going to be doing very soon, hopefully, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre entire series retrospective. So I hope you guys are going to join me for that. I have some very different opinions on some of the sequels than other people, so it'll be fun to talk about that series. But Tourist Trap, if you find this DVD, snatch it, pick it up, grab it. This is uncut. The Blu-ray is not. The Blu-ray is actually a cut down version of the film, and you want the glorious all of Tourist Trap. That's a really creepy opening. Really well done. Very like a young Tanya Roberts in this one here. Oh, you haven't checked it? Oh man, Chuck Connors is in this film, and he is gloriously amazing. And what's even better is that Pino Donaggio. Look him up. He's actually a really good when it comes to music. He does the score on this film, and it is eerie. And I definitely would love to grab the special the special, like, I gotta get the vinyl for this. If there's a vinyl for Tourist Trap, I definitely gotta grab that down the road, because it is a very creepy one. So yeah, definitely check that out. And I'm guessing you're talking about the Texas Chainsaw. I'm actually a huge fan of that series. And another Jamie Blanks film. A highly underrated Jamie Blanks film, and it's coming out in February. I'm expecting that a lot of you guys are probably going to be grabbing it. If not, I'm hopefully going to change your mind and get you to pick it up, and that is Valentine. Valentine was one that was pretty much lambasted when it came out. It was said there was too many pretty people. Some people didn't like the twist in the film, and the DVD and Blu-ray, the DVD for Tourist Trap was put out by Cult Video, otherwise known as Full Moon, or Kosh Video right there on the back. So it's put out by Full Moon. Full Moon put out a Blu-ray of it, but the Blu-ray that they put out was horrible. So steer clear of that one. So there we go, Valentine. Buy this, fantastic film. Jamie Blanks made this one, and it's highly underrated, actually. It's got a great cast. We got, like, I think Marley Shelton's in this one, right? Marley Shelton, Denise Richards, Catherine Heigl, David Boreanaz. It's not hard to figure out who the killer is in this movie, but it is fun. It actually flies by. It's one of those that it's an 80s slasher film, and I guess maybe at the time people were expecting their slasher movies to be more screamified and be more meta. And Valentine didn't do that. It went back and did the pure kind of 80s style slasher film with kind of like the silly little like revenge reason for doing this with a good looking cast and some cool movies. Definitely. Yeah, actually, check out 88 Films. I'm not sure if they put it out or not, because they usually do tend to put out better versions. But look at a review first to see, because I can't tell you that the 88 Films edition is actually better. So, this is the only Chucky box I got, I'm sorry. But I love the Child's Play series. My favorite is part 2. Out of the entire series, my favorite has always been part 2. I like the more recent one, not Cult, but the one before that. My mind is gone tonight. It had a gothic style to it. So, yeah, and actually, I'm one of those people. Curse, thank you, Rich. I'm one of those people, those very few people that actually like Seed. I do. I find Seed to be extremely fun because it's not the normal. It goes completely different from the rest of the films. I like Seed and this better than I like Bride. And the reason for that is I like the satirical part of it. I like the way that they poke fun at Hollywood and a lot of the tropes and stuff like that. My favorite is part 2. That has always been my favorite in the series. I think it always will be. So that's why I was very excited when at the end of Cult, So now we are really getting into the Blu-rays. Synapse. Synapse are known for their... You're a fan of Seed? You rock. Synapse is known for putting out amazing restorations of films. They spend a lot of time... They don't put out as many films as a lot of other companies. That's because on premium titles, they spend a lot of time putting those titles out. Here's one of them. And here's one that I've owned many times. And I got around 3 or 4 different versions of this movie. That's Prom Night, the original with Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, when I first saw this movie, I thought it was okay. And it was years later, I actually really got into the film. It's the one that it became a favorite of mine. And this is one that if somebody told me, said, this is a slower film, the Kinder release, that I would agree with them. Yeah, it's very much a slower film. It's very much a film of its time. But I still think it's a fantastic watch. And if you're going to own it, if you're going to watch this movie, this 1980 classic slasher film with Jamie Lee Curtis, isn't she? The beautiful Jamie Lee Curtis, then definitely get this edition. Bar none, this is the prime. This is the prime prom night you need to own. This is the edition of Prom Night that should be in everybody's collection. Watching this after seeing the different DVDs and whatever sources that had come out was definitely what I would call was a revelation. It was amazing. It was much like how I felt when I watched Suspiria. After I was just blown away by what Synapse had done with Suspiria, and I was blown away when I picked this up and I just realized what an amazing job they did with the transfer. The features on here are incredible. It's one that I do want to do like a full in-depth review on down the road as well. But if you've never seen it, please, this is a fantastic little one to own, and this is the only way to own this film, the Synapse one. There's a million ways to own it, but this is the way to own it. I'm guessing there's not a huge amount of like fans of that film, since nobody mentioned anything while I was talking about it, and I'm gonna imagine that you're not. Hey, Andy, not all like super entranced by my speech. So there was another movie they put out at the same time, another slasher film, a beautiful mix of slasher and giallo that shouldn't work. But it does. It works for all the reasons it shouldn't work. And if you're a fan of Black Christmas, the actress who plays Claire in Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas, the girl that gets killed and put upstairs in the attic, we see her throughout the film. She actually has a pretty decently big part in this movie right here. Hey, Kubrick lover. And that is curtains. Watch this movie. Now, a lot of people don't get curtains, or don't really, I'm not saying they get it, but they don't get into it totally on the first watch. Now, I've told people, that's understandable, Sculder. I always get you at the wrong time. I got to come on like earlier or something so you can actually get, it's Canadian, exactly. Tim Hayes can watch me via his Roku box. That is really awesome, actually. I like that, Fry. That's disco theme slasher. Yeah, definitely check out Curtains. It's a slower movie. It's a strange film. It's one that does better on rewatchability. I think that you find little things in it with subsequent rewatches. That's how I found with a lot of people that I've introduced Curtains to. They weren't sure if they liked it. And as they saw it, they'd go and saw it prominent in the local version. Oh, nice. But yeah, definitely check out Curtains. It's a great film. And again, it's by Synapse, and the restoration is amazing. Before that, the only way you could find Curtains, guys, was there was like one of those like cheap box sets that had 5 or 6 on it. Porky's is awesome, dude. Bob Clark. Next up, Terror Train. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know this is a movie that scared me more than any other film back in the day. Where a lot of people are scared by The Exorcist or Halloween, this movie freaked me out. I've told the story so many times that it seems almost sad to say it again, but at the time that I watched this, hey, Entertainment Wizard, what happened is basically it was Halloween. I'd just come home. I was in Camrose, Alberta, and this was on TV. This was the TV movie of the week for Halloween. I began to watch it, and I watched around the first 15-20 minutes of the film. Then my parents told me I had to go to bed. My bedroom was right next to the television set where this was playing. They decided to keep watching it. So I could not see the film, but I could hear the screaming and all that type of stuff. Give it another watch. If you can get the Synapse edition, it's really, really good. And it does make a difference, I think. But Terror Train, definitely a really fun one. Kind of like one of the better Jamie Lee Curtis ones for sure. Joe Bob Briggs Christmas special. I love the fact that the killer wears a bunch of different outfits in this one here. It's really unique. And the twist of who the killer is at the end of it, I don't know if I'm going to buy the new Blu-ray or not, because this is a really good Blu-ray of it. This is out of print right now, I think. I think this is the one that's out of print. That's the reason they can actually do a new one. They said they're going to do like a new restoration on it. And maybe I'm the only person, but I actually thought the restoration, that this was a really good Blu-ray. Definitely, like I wish they would have had more features, but There was originally supposed to be a commentary on this, but something happened at the last minute that the commentary had to be taken off, had to be not done. But yeah, definitely Terror Train. I don't know if I'll upgrade. We'll see. If it comes in my area, I probably will, but it won't be something that I'll be like going out to check out. You know, if it's farther away. I'm gonna leave these ones. So when I was doing this, some of my stuff fell down. So some of these are out of order. That kind of peeves me off. A lot. Well, let's get through some more of these here, because I got some real classic slashers to show you guys. Some ones that I do strongly recommend. Yeah, let's do this one next. So next up is a trilogy of slasher films. Put it on Scream Factory, and 2 of them are put out on 88 Films, as you guys know, because I showed you the Slasher Classics collection actually recently. And that is the Sleepaway Camp series. The original Sleepaway Camp with Felissa Rose. Actually, it's a really fun film. I think that a lot of people say, you know, that this film is only popular because of its twist at the end. I don't think so. I think that there's actually some really good kills in this movie right here. And Felissa Rose was actually really good. Now, there's some really over-the-top acting and some like definitely questionable decisions made within this film. But that being said, I actually really like this. I think it is better than people say, Kubrick lover. And I think the reason is because people get so stuck up on the twist. And I won't say the twist, even though it's been out for years. That they don't judge the film on its own merits. They say, "Oh, I'm not quite sure of the twist." But you know, is it a perfect film? No. Is it a slasher film that deserves more attention? Yeah, actually it does. Next up is Sleepaway Camp 2, which is, you know, actually gets a lot more credit, and it is a very fun film. It's definitely one of the ones that that's put together better. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. So actually, there was an uncut version of Sleepaway Camp put out, but I think it was put out by a dubious label. It's like, oh really? Yeah, the boiling water kill, the snake scene. There's some really cool kills in Sleepaway Camp. People like underrate that. And when you're looking at a slasher film, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the kills. You're not looking at to see if was this meticulously plotted out. I'm sorry, Halloween wasn't meticulously plotted out. You're looking at things like the kills and the cinematography and the way the actors pull it off. And Felissa Rose pulls it off. Sleepaway Camp 2 has Pamela Springsteen come into it, and this is kind of like it's a more humorous one, definitely more tongue-in-cheek, but it definitely has better actors than the first Sleepaway Camp film. I'm not, you know, Felissa Rose aside, like definitely has better like stronger actors in this one here. We got, aside from Pamela Springsteen, Renee Estevez is in this one. Brian Patrick Clark is in it as well. I do have a lot of fun with this movie. And it's one that I can watch, and I have watched several, like dozen times. With that is there's also Sleepaway Camp 3, and which, you know, was filmed at the same time as the second one. It's not as good as part 2, but it's one that I initially kind of was meh about. Yeah, it was never meant to be a technically great film, though, Kubrick lover. But I understand what you mean. Sleepaway Camp 3 actually has grown on me over the years, and I have found that when I watch 2 and 3 back to back, I actually tend to like them just a little bit better. 3, I think, does stand a little bit stronger than I expected it to do, and maybe a little bit better than some of the others. Next up is Tobe Hooper's The Funhouse, and Tobe Hooper's Funhouse, and this is underrated. People don't talk about this one a lot, actually, and I really like this. I got the Arrow edition of this as well. Now, The Funhouse is a really cool little film. A lot of Frankenstein in that. Some teenagers' boobs, decent gore. Exactly. That's what you want. Shocking reveal at the end. That's kind of what you want when it comes to this. And, you know, Funhouse, much like Sleepaway Camp, it kind of gets like gets forgotten. There's a really neat like kind of a Frankenstein motif that goes through at Funhouse, and it's after you've seen the movie once and you kind of like got the movie in there. It's good to go back with some friends and like we even make a drinking game out of all the Frankenstein references and stuff that are in this film. It's actually pretty cool. And it gives you a reason to go, an extra reason to go back, not just to watch the film. This is not one where it's a mystery who the killer is, right away. The unveiling of the killer, of course, his face has been seen often, like in different movies and stuff like that now, and like in different like things. But yeah, definitely check out the Funhouse. Great cast too. Some great actors in this one. Now let's. Hey, Wolf. You're not a slasher fan, Wolf? Let me make you a slasher fan. I would go with Eaten Alive, but I go back and forth, Fry, between Eaten Alive and Funhouse. Poltergeist, which I do like, is not my favorite of the Tobe Hooper films, but I do kind of go back between those. Not so far. There's different ones. There's different genres of slasher. So High Tension. This may not be the one to get you into though. I really dig this film. I love the twist in this film. A lot of people hate the twist in this film, but honestly, guys, really check this one out. Everybody's checked this out, but no, if you haven't checked it out, it's a fun film. Give it another chance. When you know the twist going in, and you understand that you're watching it from a certain perspective, then my youngest actually is doing that right now. He's working on he's doing like some essay work. When you know the perspective, this is actually French originally. I'm guessing you mean his master. Sorry, but. When you look at it from the perspective of the killer, the way you're supposed to see it, it's a really fun film. All right, let's get into the next one. And I'll tell you, this is a good movie, but it's not cranberry sauce. Cranberry sauce is really tasty. This is Blood Rage. Now, Blood Rage is a really fun film. Highly, like not seen for like a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people don't like High Tension. I never get it. I never understand it because the twist is just perfect, and it brings everything into place. Now, Blood Rage doesn't really need a twist. It's twins. One of them's a psycho, one of them's not. Killing on Thanksgiving. It's one of the few Thanksgiving horror movies. It's definitely the only Thanksgiving slasher film I think that's out there. Because I'm sorry, but like Poltergeist and Thanksgiving don't count as slasher films. Got Korean DVD of High Tension. That's nice. Did you have any extra features on that one, Scoler? Definitely, if you don't have this, grab it. And after you get this, see, yeah, there's gonna be some slashing within that. So there you go. Then after you get this and you enjoy it, go buy Scalpel, because Scalpel is really freaking good. And Scalpel is not a slasher film; it's a Southern Gothic, but it's a really good Southern Gothic. There you go, with the Southern Gothic, right? Stars Judith Chapman. Actually, that's a really good cast. Judith Chapman plays dual roles in the film. And there's someone that liked the twist and High Tension. That is awesome. Some people just wanted it to be straightforward. The only thing I didn't like about the twist is I was writing films at the time, and the twist was very similar to a twist that I'd written into a film that I made myself, and I had to go back and rewrite 30 pages. I knew it fell out when it fell on the floor. Next up are two that I've talked about a lot on here, so I won't talk about them too much now. That would be nice. I'd like to see Edgar Wright do something like that. The urban legend duology. Because no, there's no trilogy, because Bloody Mary doesn't count. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm not counting Bloody Mary. These are two really cool slasher films. The first one is amazing. The second one I thought was a lot of fun as well. The third one is utter maybe I got to go back and rewatch it again. I got it over there, but I'm not counting it. It's not a slasher film. I love these. I also got the summer movies over there somewhere as well, and the Screams. Those are good. I like these better. I know that's a lot of people. Yes, I actually do like the urban legend films a little bit better than the Scream films. I know that seems like a bit of a, because the Screams are so well done and well known, but I just really like the pure slasherness of it. Speaking of pure slasherness, this should be in your collection, guys. Hell Night. If you have not checked out Hell Night, check out Hell Night. Not only is this a really good underrated slasher film that kind of fell under the radar, we'll get to Spider University. Oh, you got the script. Oh, so you're gonna listen to some Red Right Hand, right? But this is great, and this is a great, much like the urban legend ones, which were a great package with great features. This kind of started off with some of the really amazing features for. Definitely check it out. Linda Blair is gorgeous in this film. It's probably one of her most beautiful roles. Definitely right up there with like Savage Streets, which rocks. But yep, Hell Night. Check that one out. Here's one that I think everybody can agree on as being a really good film, and that one is The Burning. If you have not watched The Burning, please watch The Burning. Me and Fry are on the same page with this stuff. This is a really good film. This is like, if you look through like the years for horror, one of the years that's going to stand out is 1982. Seriously, just write in horror films 1982 in your Google, and you're going to see like an amazing amount of like really good films in that time period, especially slasher stuff. Now, The Burning definitely is a top one. I'm really surprised. I'm actually very surprised that nobody. Yeah, actually, Tom Savini worked on this one. He did this one over Friday the 13th Part 2. It is underrated there. And it's just such a simple story. Just such a simple story, but it works so well. The effects by Tom Savini are amazing. It extremely well done. Well cast. Jason Alexander with hair. Jason Alexander as the cool guy too. I'm like, wow, Jason Alexander was kind of cool in this movie. Tom Savini was a rock star to us. A lot of people don't understand that, but he was the guy. He was the man. But yes, please, guys, own this one. No, don't rent it. Own it. This is 1982 classic, and I do not use the word classic a lot. Maybe I do too much. So let's talk to it. Oh. Some of these got mixed up here. So let me. Under Dick Smith. You did train under Dick Smith, actually. You worked with Dick Smith a lot. Tom Savini's Grand Illusion books, definitely worth checking out. Dick Smith was an amazing makeup artist, guys. And for you younger folks out there, definitely worth looking up. Because he was definitely one of the greats, if not of all time. And here's one that I don't think a lot of people have thought of. Ouch! Sorry, guys, I'm in a lot of pain. So moving's a little bit like. On the good side, I'm learning how to cook stuff that I didn't used to before, and I'm trying new herbal teas. Anyway. Phantom of the Opera. Not something that you normally think of as a slasher film, but this edition of Phantom of the Opera very much is. Actually, it probably was a little bit of a detriment to the film because people went in expecting a more classic version of Phantom of the Opera, and instead they ended up with this slasher film with Robert Englund and Joe Sholin. My God, it had Robert Englund and Joe Sholin. How could you not know this was going to be steeped in slasher tropes? It's gory, it's fun. Robert Englund really does a good job as the Phantom, and the Phantom is no nice guy in this one. The Phantom is definitely the a you know, he's a killer. This has high slasher tropes. This was supposed to be part of a duology. This was supposed to be another one called Phantom in New York. Oh, actually, to talk horror films. Yeah, we were going to do that. Obnoxious and Anonymous, who is a fantastic dude, by the way, and has a podcast, right? That people should definitely check out. We're going to talk Twin Peaks at one point. Hey, Tim. I just read your thing for Instagram. YouTube channel. Yeah, exactly. Well, I do think of those like kind of like a vlogcast type of thing, which I do enjoy. So if you haven't checked it, Obnoxious and Anonymous is like YouTube channel. Definitely check it out. I would definitely be game for going on. I think that after a lot of stuff happened around that time, but I definitely would be into that. Never go mad with Twin Peaks. I'm very hardcore Twin Peaks fan. You're a lover. No, like what you like. But I definitely am a very serious lover of the of David Lynch and Twin Peaks. Definitely, guys, check this one out. Family opera. Actually, I can do a Criterion stream soon. I take requests, Voodoo. But yeah, like I don't have like the large Criterion selection that you have, or that I know that at least you had when you when you started buying your Criterions. Holy crap, man! I still remember those videos. But I'll definitely go through my Criterion ones with you guys here, and actually very soon, very very soon. Phantom of the Mall is the one that I want. That's no longer, or that's not out yet. Phantom of the Mall is it's a bit of a trudge, but the new Twin Peaks series, not gonna lie to you, but definitely check it out. There's a bit of genius there, a lot of genius in it, but it's got to be something. Tim's talking about Twin Peaks. Tim Hayes is here, guys. He's just watching me and commenting through the Instagram. Luckily, my Instagram's on here as well. I don't think I have heard his music album. The only only David Lynch music that I've got, and well, I don't have it now. I used to have the a cassette tape that show my age here, of the Twin Peaks soundtrack. I love Julie Cruz's voice. But I've never heard, like, I didn't know he did music himself. He's like Carpenter. You mean like he actually did the music? I didn't know that. Like I knew that like. I've seen him. I've seen one or two. I've seen one of them. I gotta check that out. Final Exam. I kind of dig this. I didn't like this movie the first time I saw it, and not on DVD back then. On VHS. I really didn't like it because the killer didn't have. There was no motive for the killings really. The killer just killed, and at the time that I watched this, I was really into like guessing the killer, and the killer having like some extreme, extravagant motive or revenge or something like that. So I really didn't get it at the time that I'll be the first person to say it. I was scaring you, man. Yeah, final exam, dude. You're writing your paper. But it's it was a low budget slasher film that was done. I think they did a really good job with it. What was kind of comical is that the budget was so low that they're filming it, and for the first like 3 or 4 days of filming, they actually were filming like a one scene over and over again. They were going like extremely over budget. They hadn't realized what they'd gotten into. It's just finding out about Final Exam. There's a few videos on it, and there's some information on it here as well, of course, on the there. But finding out about the backstory on Final Exam is actually really cool. Some people got hurt because the stunts they didn't have a solid stunt man on Final Exam, so there was some like damage that was done. Luckily they went and snuck behind the studio's back and actually got the. Yeah, it does. Maybe that nostalgia thing gives it a little bit of extra flavor, taste to it. And the thing is that now we're not just like going in and like we have these preconceived notions of what a slasher should be. We've seen all these different types of slashers, and plus we're getting all these backstories and like all these commentaries and interviews and stuff. And that really does add, like this stuff does add to kind of the mythos of it all. But yeah, they went behind the studio did want to hire a stunt person. But there's this huge fall at the end of the film that definitely needed a stunt person. Actually, that's kind of on point. So luckily they used the stunt person because somebody would have died. Much like on Vanishing Point, someone would have died if that fall had been done by somebody that wasn't like a professional, like supervised stunt person. Because if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I mean. But it's still worth it because think of it: all four Poison Ivy films on Blu-ray. I gotta have that. I got to. Maybe it's just me. I'm a huge fan of the Poison Ivy series. Quality filmmaking. And, you know, Jamie Presley in high definition. Not gonna knock that. Or Drew Barrymore. Bad Dreams, Visiting Hours. This is a slasher double feature. And a good one. This is one of the better double features that Shout Factory has ever put out. It's actually a really, really good one. It's one of their early ones. Bad Dreams, of course, stars Jennifer Rubens, who most people remember from, most people actually are probably going to remember from Dream Warriors, because she's the one that's like, she's bad in the dream. She's super cool. Freddy does the famous, let's get high line when he kills her character. Visiting Hours is mostly known for Michael Ironside, of course, who is amazing in these type of roles. Michael Ironside plays a misogynistic killer, and who is like stalking Lee Grant, and of course the nurse in here. I can imagine her being very nice. She seems really nice. She's actually in one of my favorite little like films. My Dreams, I'm Beautiful and Bad. She's beautiful anyway. She was a model first, actually. She's actually in a movie called Crush, which came out on Scream Factory, that I actually really, really love. Actually, Dream Warriors is probably one of the best of the, if not the best of the sequels, actually. These movies there's so many of these here. They're just like, I'm moving a bit just to align my back so that I don't like scream. And the movies keep falling on my feet. New Year's Evil. I don't think I got to talk a lot about this one. Great little slasher film. Stars Pinky from Happy Birthday, man. Happy Days. And definitely worth checking out. Love this film. He's evil. In your opinion, and actually in the opinion of my eldest too, who actually thinks those are the best as well. I have them very high. I really think that 2 is underrated. Very, very underrated. Shall we do this one next? Will you please stop falling down on top of me? Yeah, let's do this one next. Hopefully, if you collect Scream Factory, yeah, slash for every holiday, folks. Actually, I really like Dream Child. That's part 5. It was darker, and it's the only film in the entire franchise. I will stand by this, that the parents aren't dicks. Just go back, watch every every Nightmare on Elm Street film. The parents are horrible. Even in New Nightmare, she's not the greatest parent. But part 5, the parents, you actually have supportive parental roles in the film, and it's the only one. The entire, parents are horrible, except in that one. Yeah, if you're collecting Scream Factory, please let these be 2 that are on your shelf right now, or 2 that you're planning on getting. Oh yeah, the remake is definitely horrible dud. Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Great editions of these films. The best these films have ever looked. Amazing special features on each of these. Just incredible stuff. There's a ton of stuff to go through. You're going to spend spend at least an evening, especially on part two, going through the features on part two. There's a bit of a heartbreak in it as well. Listen to it. But yeah, Saturday Deadly Night Part 2. Yeah, please, if you're collecting Scream Factory, let these two be ones that are in your collection, because the work that was put into those, how well those were put together, everybody should own those films. Speaking of 1982 being a really good year for slashers and stuff, pretty sure this one's on A2 as well. Madman. You got distracted by the cat in the background? Yeah, he's cleaning himself right now. Madman Mars. Don't say his name out loud, or else you'll have an awkward sequence. Yeah, happy birthday, John Carpenter's right. It's his birthday. Well, I guess it's Patsy's birthday now, but it was his birthday. Really fun. Actually, we do want to see that Wells film documentary. I will definitely buy those. You got a 35mm print of this? Sweet. But great. There's actually a full-length feature-length documentary on this here, Madman Alive at 35, I think it's called. No, it's sorry, The Legend Still Lives. Only when you have the eagle has landed, you got to get some more Scream and Shout in your life, man. There's some good stuff out there, Scalder. Some really good stuff. I will get you into some of that. I will, I promise. Actually, a really cool edition of this. This was put out by Arrow Video. There was a Vinegar Syndrome release. Put out this movie as well. I got the Arrow one. I really, really do like this film. If you've never seen Madman, I highly recommend it. It's a fun, cheesy slasher film. Oh, I wouldn't. Dude, I definitely wouldn't sell that. That is a piece of history right there. Next up is the classic Psycho Cop Returns. Actually, way, way better than Psycho Cop. Though I would like to have Psycho Cop on Blu-ray as well. But we'll definitely check it out. Watch the documentary as well. It's a really good documentary. But this is really cool. This is a funny slasher film. If you've never seen it, I gotta say, I definitely recommend it. Ton of fun. There's a great documentary on there. 43-minute making of documentary. Well, Adam Rifkin directed this. For me, it's Black Christmas. But that's my favorite film. So that's kind of it's not fair for me to say, okay, this is the great slasher film of all time because that's my favorite film. I'm biased. I wear the kind of like the glasses of biased nostalgia. But I would say that one of the greats of all time in the slasher genre. I hope Scream Factory has been up in their game, in my opinion, recently. Dark Backward, yeah, that's one I've seen in a long time. I would say that Friday the 13th Part 2 actually is one of the great slashers. In that it's what it started. Friday the 13th started like this, the body count thing, but Friday the 13th Part 2 really cemented it. It cemented a lot of the tropes that you see in slasher films now. People go back to Halloween and films like that and think like, okay, this is where the slasher thing started. And yeah, it brought it to popularity. Halloween brought indie horror to popularity, and it brought like more eye into independent horror. Friday the 13th kind of cemented it as a slasher film as being the popular, like genre, the subgenre to work in. But Part 2, Part 5 is my favorite as well. Part 2 is definitely what I consider the best of the films. Part 4 actually, I think, as Hoke said there, actually puts it together in kind of like the best. Like it's got great actors, and it's got like a ton of like it pretty much takes from all the original three films, and adds adds its own little flavor. However, there's a couple things that makes part two like my top out of the top four over that, and that is basically the fact that it's got a stronger heroine in part two than there is in part four, and there's no horrible "they're killing me" scene, which is unintentionally hilarious. He's killing me. Oh my God, he's killing me. Thank you, dude. My play Valentine. Actually, not like I had anything to do with it, but it is a fantastic slasher film. It's definitely in my top. Tell you what, one of these days I'll do like a top 10, top 15 slasher film type of thing, because I really need to do that. But I really have to think about it. I'm gonna have to put like Psycho is considered the kind of the granddaddy of the slasher genre, but I like a lot of people don't really consider it. And there's slashing in the film, but as far as like slashers as how we would come to know them, Psycho really doesn't fit like the slasher tropes for me. I know that's nothing against Psycho. I love Psycho. I think it's a fantastic film, but the Psycho sequels I think fit the slasher tropes much better than the original Psycho does, because then they're actually going upon that. Especially part three. Part three is probably the most maligned Psycho film of all time, aside from the remake, which deservedly so. But part three really has the Peeping Tom. Yeah, Peeping Tom I would consider more slasher than I would consider Psycho, just in the way that it's done. And Peeping Tom is a highly underrated film. It's a shame that the hatred that movie got in the time, because it was so far ahead of its time. Peeping Tom, I wouldn't consider like the slasher one, but I will say that I think Peeping Tom is the genesis of Maniac. So if you want to consider like Maniac as in a slasher film, oh, definitely watch Peeping Tom, Creepy Clever. You will like that one. Peeping Tom is what I consider the genesis for movies like Maniac and Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, more than I would consider it the genesis for a regular slasher film, if that makes any sense. I've spent way too much time like thinking about this. I actually at one point I was going to write a book on the slasher genre. It unfortunately did ruin Michael Powell's career, and he never came back from it. Which is a shame, because Michael Powell was a brilliant director, and nothing shows his brilliance more than Peeping Tom, because it is a brilliantly done film, and it is heartbreaking that it did that, because it was amazing. Much like Charles Lawton only did one film, and it was a gloriously amazing film, but this is now Powell didn't do one film, but he did a film that unceremoniously ruined his career that it shouldn't have, because nowadays if he was alive now, the love and respect that he would get from the film community now, because I think we're growing up a bit when it comes to this. You think slasher began with Halloween? Slasher began with it began with Black Christmas. Black Christmas is Halloween took a lot from Black Christmas, and I wouldn't even say like people say what about Texas Chainsaw? Texas Chainsaw has got its own kind of backwoods slasher type of style, right? Now people go back with Bay of Blood, and that definitely influenced Friday 13th. And Friday 13th Part 2, they actually took kills directly from that film. So that's something that definitely has to be talked about. But that's a giallo, and I don't consider giallo. I don't consider giallo slasher. Giallo is its own genre, and there are similarities to slasher. Like giallo and krimi films are their own genre altogether. Giallo are Italian, krimi are German, but definitely. I don't know. Giallo does have nudity. A lot of, not always, but like Giallo is definitely known for its kind of a sleaze or nudity. The POV shot comes from Black Christmas. The killer, that style of killer comes from Black Christmas, to the point that Black Christmas was originally going to be called, if they did a sequel, Halloween. Just saying. Uh, but Black Christmas, it's definitely. I know what you're saying, and trust me, there's no bigger fan of Black Christmas than me. And it can. That's the thing. A lot of slashers can also fit in the thriller trope, but I think it would does a disservice to Black Christmas not to consider it a slasher, especially consider. I think this is a blueprint. This is a blueprint that John Carpenter went from. Like we had Black Christmas, and of course, When a Stranger Calls, which is a really good film actually, but it's much slower than a lot of people remember it being. People remember When a Stranger Calls, and they remember the first 15 minutes, and they don't remember crap about the rest of the film. You don't know how many people I've had that conversation with. What is film noir about? It is, but see, woof, doesn't that make you want to like just dive in and just kind of explore this genre a little bit, just to see where the different like roads lead, like Robert Frost, The Path Not Taken, right? This one will not be controversial. This is The Mutilator. By sword, by pick, by axe, bye. I love those little like taglines that they use. This is actually a really, really fun one. If you've never seen The Mutilator, definitely check it out. I think it's a fun little film. Arrow put this one out. What I like about this film is that unlike a lot of slasher films, and Friday the 13th is actually really, really bad for this, the characters are likable in The Mutilator. Jello. These are likable characters. And I actually felt bad when they died. You don't get that a lot. That does look like a Texas Chainsaw cover, doesn't it? But not quite. Texas Chainsaw actually is probably gorier than Texas Chainsaw was. The original Texas Chainsaw movie is actually not that gory. When you go back and watch it again, it's more like implied. But no, I'm sticking with my guns. Oh really? Dude, I am super jealous, just so you know. I'm jealous. If you talk to that director ever again, say hi for me. And tell him I really like his films. Along the cheesier supernatural ones is Jack Frost. Jack Frost is one of those lenticular cover slashers much along the lines of Uncle Sam, which was done by William Lustig. And I'm sorry, I'm a big baby. I really like to. I really do enjoy this film. It's a fun film. Shannon Elizabeth, early role for Shannon Elizabeth, maybe one of her first roles. It's interesting, memorable role for her death sequence. And if you've never seen Jack Frost or its sequel, which is kind of a Gremlins-y sequel, you see more in the early 2000s, really? So you're ahead of the curve, man. Oh yeah, I'm every time they put out a slipcover. Demon Wind, by the way, if you got the slipcover for Demon Wind, freaking awesome as well. Okay, I got the slasher edition of this one. I might actually upgrade this one to Blu-ray. Very seedy film, but it's beautifully seedy. I mean Blu-ray. So I might upgrade this one to the Arrow one down the road. I get to see if there's any extra features. But Satan's Blade. Oh my God! Have you seen this movie, guys? Who's seen Satan's Blade? Because, crap, this is weird. This is weird and strange and gloriously bad. If you love Z-grade slashers, there's no more Z-grade slasher than Satan's Blade. It is the things of slasher films. There was a great interview with the director, which I don't know if it's done by his mom or his wife, or that's not an insult, I just don't really know, or just some random person that they chose. But they picked a really odd person to do the interviewing for the director's interview on Satan's Blade and slasher video. But definitely, guys, check this one out. It's weird. It's a lot of fun, and Satan's Blade. That's a stranger, man. There's one I haven't heard of in a while. That's Carpenter, right? Because if I'm right, that's the one with that's recently put up by Scream Factory. I don't have that one yet. Or am I thinking something else? I think that's it. Now, see, people go back and forth on the Elijah. I like the Elijah Wood remake. I don't think it's as good as the original film. I don't think that it can be, and I don't think it was trying to be. But Elijah Wood, I actually did like what they did with the remake. I can understand some people not liking it, but that's one of the remakes that I did actually enjoy. I love this movie. The twist is great. I don't care what anybody says. That's a cool twist. Fantastic. Elijah Wood is definitely not a bad actor, man. Just go back to, especially child actor is really, really good. Oh, Ken Wiederhorn did I Was a Stranger. Okay. Oh, are you talking about the, was it Lauren Hutton? Who did I Was a Stranger? Was it Lauren Hutton? Sorry. I'm going to have to look it up. I know the film, and I really know, and I'm just trying to remember. You're just lucky this isn't live with my better half, who's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Yeah, this is, get this. If you have, if you've got a, I think this is region free actually. Actually, this is region free, so you have no excuse. Guys, this is the, oh, thank you. Okay, that was killing me, man. Yes, I see. Happy birthday to me. This is the edition you get. This has features on it, by the way, guys, and it's much better than the Mill Creek edition. We've got an audio commentary with Hysteria Continues on here. We got an alternate score, actually, because if you got the original edition of this one on Blu-ray, I think it had like a, or DVD, it had like a different score for the film. And you can really, really tell. If you've ever seen the original film, and then you watch the redone score of the film, it's so out of place. But you'll find out when you actually own this one, because it's a really good one. And if it's the original edition, you're going to get this awesome, amazing big booklet in here as well, which I do recommend, because Indicator for me they are the king of the booklets. They just do the booklets better than anybody else. Great film. Since I've gotten this one, I've rewatched it around like 4 times. Oh, the Slip one. I get it for the Slip. How can Indicator be on your shit list? Indicator is one of the best companies that came out in the last year. Cold Prey 2. Cold Prey's good. Cold Prey 3, as you guys would say, is meh. But Cold Prey 2 is brilliantly done. This is the way a slasher sequel should be. Must watch. Cold Prey. Now, when I saw Cold Prey, it wasn't available on DVD. I saw it through dubious, nefarious circumstances. It was called Frit Wilt. And I actually had a hard time with the Cold Prey title, that's to be completely honest with you. But this one here, it's in its original Danish language with subtitles. Best release of 2018. Are you going to say Ned the Demon like me? Because I'm a huge Ned the Demon fan, and I think that release was amazing. But yep, there you go. Cold Prey 2, guys. Definitely check this one out. Great. This should have launched a amazing series of Cold Prey films, but they did the first 2 and did the prequel. Maybe I got to rewatch the prequel. Maybe it's better than I thought, but I didn't like it when I originally saw it. I was kind of iffy on it. But this one here, definitely check it out. Now we're getting into some of the classics. First off is another trilogy. That is Maniac Cop. Fantastic film, by the way. Maniac Cop 2. Oh, sorry. Maniac Cop 2. Maniac Cop 3. It's worth it to own them all. 3 is the lesser of the 3 sequels. There was like issues when they were making 3, but just to find out like the backstory, behind the scenes type of stuff, excellent. And there's a little twist in the movie that I actually did like, so I'm going to give Maniac Cop definitely a 3 pass, as in I own 3 of them. Definitely they're worth owning. Next up are a couple from Code Red, who apparently are having a sale. Is it Code Red that's having a sale right now? I heard that they're having a sale. There may be a Code Red sale going on right now. Maybe I should have did a Code Red video. So these are 2 Code Red slashers that I highly recommend and I think are really good. And that is Hide and Go Shriek. Way more fun than I thought it was going to be. Had a blast with this movie. Much like Chopping Mall, which I guess is kind of a slasher, a robot slasher. This is set like in one of those kind of like in a department store place overnight. Had a lot of fun with this movie. I've watched this one a few times. If you have never seen Hide and Go Shriek, definitely check it out. And I have to check to make sure that I'm correct on this one. But I had heard that Code Red was having a sale. I probably won't be able to find it now, but you guys can find out. Check it out. See if Code Red is having a sale. Or maybe it's Screen Archives having the Code Red sale. But somewhere on Twitter today, I'm sure I saw that Code Red was having a sale. I don't own it, actually. I've seen it years ago on VHS. I would not be able to tell you much about it except for the box. But it's one that I do want to own. I would just wish that it was kind of someone else. You fell asleep watching Curtains? It is a slower one. The ice skating scene, it is. And that's a creepy mess, man. It's only used in that sequence of the film, and it stands out. And of course, there is Sweet 16. So, 88 Films, nice. So this, of course, is also available from 88 Films as well. And this has, you're going to recognize her. That is Dana Kimmel. She is from the 3rd Friday the 13th film, where they have more likable actors in the Friday the 13th film. You don't expect to see her naked because Dana Kimmel's not that type of gal. But it is a good film, actually. I did like this one, and I might rewatch this one. Yeah, definitely a slow burner. Some of these, like, you got to remember, a lot of these were done back in the day. Diabolique, thank you, Skoldar. That's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah, Diabolique is having a Code Red sale right now, so guys, you might want to get your Code Red on tonight. Thanks, Scholar. I actually really appreciate that because I could not remember the name of what it was doing. Hey, Solar Terror, dude, what's up? I am almost through my slasher. Basically, we're talking slashers tonight. And Netflix just went up a couple of dollars, by the way, guys. Holiday slashers. I didn't bring over my Christmas Evil, totally forgot it, but also a really cool holiday slasher. But don't open till Christmas. Have a lot of fun with this movie. This is actually the only edition that you should really own to this one. This is gonna be a big year for slashers, and I'm so excited about that Celluloid Terror. You know Party Line's coming out. Am I the only person excited that Vinegar Syndrome, the Vincent's doing Party Line? Don't open till Christmas. A lot of fun. Good 50-minute documentary on the making of the film as well. Since I mentioned these before, I won't go really into them, but Mother's Day, great little slasher film. Graduation Day. Actually, yeah, they raised the price on Netflix today. By $2. Anybody that had Netflix, they put them on the top tier, and you can go and change it. Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, Tim Hayes said Night Warning will be on TCM Underground coming up today. Yeah, I'm pretty sure today. So you might want to check your Netflix account if you got an account, because they did raise it. Graduation A is a really good one. Patch McKenzie stars in this one here, and it's kind of different, kind of neat. Killer Party. Oh, I love Killer Party. So yeah, I would love to see Killer Party. Yeah, because they mentioned like earlier on they were going to do it, but today was the day that they were going to like do it. So you can actually go and like change your tier on Netflix if you want to. Splatter University. I said I was going to mention it, and here it is right here. Oh my God, this is fun. Has everybody here seen Splatter University? Didn't get an email about price change? Check on it. I'm pretty sure. Like they mentioned it. Where did I see it at? You watch Screen Junkies? They talked about it on Screen Junkies actually about the raising the price for Netflix. I think, but there's an email that went out like a while ago, talking about like the Netflix that Netflix was going to have a price rise. I'm pretty sure it's risen by now. Instant release of Splatter U. What's really cool? Have you got this one celluloid? Do you have this edition of Splatter University? There's a reason I'm asking. And I know you definitely need to get the Vincent one. But also right now, Netflix Plus, yeah. Only DVD. But is it? Okay, because it has a second film. What really frightened you? Which is actually supposedly be better. A lot of people think it is better than Splatter University. Get both. You don't have to stick with one. I got Blood Iris on both. Thanks a lot, I appreciate that. Anytime anyway, you get a thumbs up. Was there not that I know for. Like I've watched this a few times and I never had any issues. There's no. If there is, it wasn't in my edition. Not only Vincent will have a better encode of it, for sure. The features, aside from that, are going to be pretty similar, except for the fact that they're missing the movie. So I want the extra movie, so I will get the Vincent edition of Splatter University. But there's no way in heck that I'd give up my 88 Films edition of this one here when it has an amazing cover, some great features, and this right here. The first batch had air. I guess I got the second batch, so I pretty good. But yeah, it's a fantastic one. Don't Go in the Woods Again. I don't have to say a lot about this. It's just a fun Z-grade slasher. I just really like it. Hey Jackswick, how's it going, man? And instead of showing you back today, but that's why I'm here, to parent you into buying more cheesy films. If you've got the Scream Factory edition, if you've got the box set, if people like it, they're going to stick with the Cubic Lover, I think. They'll just down their tier. You're right. I did only get this for Tear in the Aisle, which I'm going to mention right now. I have the Scream Factory edition, which is definitely the superior edition of this. But everybody needs to own this because everybody needs to own Terror in the Aisle. It is such a freaking good thing. I saw this in theater. I saw Terror in the Aisle in theater, in the aisle. And I could not, for the life of me, even think about getting rid of this because of that. I bought the Scream Factory Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 on day one. It was a no-brainer for me. I had to buy them, but there was no way I could lose on this one. Terror in the Aisle was a great one. Now let's go to a couple classics. Halloween has been put out many times, but the 4K for me is the definitive edition of Halloween. I love the way this looks. I love the color in this film. It's a bit darker, but it's definitely clear. Nothing seems artificially brightened. Again, I can't praise this one enough. They did a great job, and I'll be I'll be the first person to say I expected this one to be junk. I expected them to do the Lionsgate to do a horrible job with it. I was wrong. How many do I have of Black Christmas? Right now I've only got about 3 versions of Black Christmas. I used to have more. I've got a VHS of Black Christmas as well, so I guess I got 4. It's worth grabbing. It is really nice. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong at all with the Scream Factory edition of Black Christmas of Halloween that came out. and you can stick with that one for a long time and definitely be satisfied. But I just really like this one. There's certain sequences that I notice more in this film, and this is one of them. Basically, is the Annie scene when Annie is in the is talking on the phone, because you're not going to know me talking without doing that. Basically, there's more to be seen. I'm not sure if it's just that it's clear, or that the quality of this actually made me notice it more. But there's a sequence where he smashes the potted plant, and kind of gets her attention, and then he's gone. He's there, and she's walking back and forth. She's walking back and forth. He's there, and then she walks back, and he's gone. Watching this one, she's walking back and forth. He's there. He's not totally gone. His shoulder is actually just going out of the scene at that time. I've seen this movie millions of times. That's probably a bit of hyperbole. I've seen this movie a lot, and I've never noticed that shoulder like moving in the background before. There's certain like spots in this that I really stood out to me as being like beautifully, masterfully done, and that's my thoughts on the film anyway. Next up, last but not least, definitely not least, is Black Christmas. Now this is the Canadian edition. It's the Season Grievings edition of Black Christmas. What's most known about this one is that it is known for having an amazingly beautiful cover art of a popular poster for Black Christmas, and also having a mini Rue Morgue magazine on the inside. I will never give this up. I will eventually buy the new Scream Factory edition because there's a couple extra features that I want. Poor Claire. It's so well done. Michael Gingold does the writing of this. David Alexander. Okay, I'm wrong. David Alexander does the writing of this one here. Interviews with the cast and crew of the film. Just really cool to have this edition of, like, I'm a huge fan of Rue Morgue magazine, especially when Javanka was the editor of it. When it originally came out, I was not a fan of what they did an issue on Friday the 13th, and they lambasted and made fun of the Friday the 13th franchise so much that I almost never picked up another Rue Morgue magazine again. Fuck that original editor for that. Night Fry, have a great evening there, and I'm almost finished tonight, so sort of kept you so long. I just have a couple like extra bonus things to show, but you've seen all the Blu-ray and stuff anyway. Just watch people start like dropping off right now. But no, there's a couple of other things I wanted to show you guys. So if you're just getting into slashers, maybe it's kind of want to. There's a few other things though. Oh, I would love to meet Keir Dullea. Before all the big documentaries came out, before all the really cool ones came out, there was Boogeyman. This was the one that everybody kind of had to have back in the day. This is a clip compilation one with some kind of cool like extras and bonuses and Easter eggs on it. Fun little film. Definitely good one to own along with your slasher collection. I would love to see this one get a Blu-ray release one of these days. This was put up by FlixMix, and they did like an action one too. So, I'll give them a break. You know, this was like an early one. You mean this one? Yes, I'm a huge fan of Going to Pieces. Now, there's some extra stuff on there. There's a commentary that people mentioned. There's also like there's some like little Easter eggs. There's a music video. I think that one's got a music video. There's like some extra scenes from different stuff. Oh, Terror on the Isle is better, Daikatana, but you know, this for a long time, this was, you know, was just, see these here, it was hard to get some of these films, and just to have these end of the day was just incredibly. Uh, every horror fan wanted it. It was one that every horror fan wanted. And people can say now that, oh, it's not as good because all this other stuff has come out. But I'm willing to bet that yes, you bought this and you were excited to buy this back in the day, because it did. Now, Going to Pieces, great documentary, really good stuff on this one here. The slasher documentary. I watched this one actually quite a lot. Also, now I also watch Slice and Dice, which I think is another really good slasher documentary, slasher film forever. I mentioned this one during my 88 Films one, so I don't really have to mention it a lot here. And of course, there was before the Friday the 13th Crystal Lake Chronicles came about, and before Never Sleep Again, which are both amazing documentaries that everybody should have in their collection. And even before the Psycho Legacy came out, which Rob Galuzza did, and it's also a really great one as well. There was His Name is Jason. This, along with like Halloween 20 Years of Terror, these were the two that came out. Now this is special to me for a couple different reasons. One of them is that this has the angry video game nerd. Yeah, 25 Years of Terror. That used to have a comic book in it too, and I don't have it anymore. I've been looking for it ever since. His Name was Jason was really cool, really well done. There, of course, is the better edition now. But this was definitely decently done. It was a fun little edition. It had an Angry Video Game Nerd episode on the Friday 13th. And I think it may have been how I got into Angry Video Game Nerd in the first place. May have been for a few people actually that got into Angry Video Game Nerd was through the His Name is Jason. He was showcased on this. I would love down the road to be in some type of movie. Like, I would love to get into like a release, like on a Vincent release or any one of these things, and just a soundbite, man, just a soundbite, just to show my love for these type of films. This one, I think it was the 2-disc. Yeah, it was the 2-disc edition. A lot of cool stuff, just pretty standard, but a lot of fun. So where do you go from there when it comes to the slasher stuff? There's a lot of slashers I did mention. There's a reason for that. I want to eventually do a second part to this and to go into some other slasher films. One thing I did want to mention though is that there's also some TV stuff. Hey, Action Jackman, how's it going, man? There's some great TV slasher stuff. One that I don't have here, but I do strongly recommend. Actually, two that I don't have here that I'm going to strongly recommend is there's hundreds upon hundreds, man. This is just like scraping this. It took me a long time to get these out, and because the way I'm feeling right now, I had to take them out a little bit at a time, so it's going to take me a much longer time than normal to put these back in place. But I wanted to just dive a little bit into the TV aspect of it. So, Scream the series, of course, I definitely recommend checking that out. You follow to past the first episode; it does get better. There was the, of course, Slasher, which is 700 plus. Nice. I gotta see the master list, man. But I'm going to show you 4 shows that definitely do run kind of in the slasher vein. Oh yeah, actually it did. Scream ran for 2 seasons and a film, and it's coming back for a 3rd season as a reboot series, which is shorter. Now, understand Scream was done for MTV. Don't hold that against it. It took me a while to get used to the style of camera work that they used in Scream, and get used to some of the actors. But I do think if you follow the story through, it does get more solid as it goes along. Now, the ones I'm going to show you here are better than Scream and better than Slasher even, and I did like Slasher a lot. Especially I like the first season. The second season had that great winter twist to it. There's a few different Slasher TV shows that came out. One of them that didn't make it. Actually, there's a few that didn't make it. But one that did go through its entire one is Bates Motel. And Bates Motel, I guess, Dexter could be considered good. I never even thought about Dexter. But I have a huge box set of Dexter, and there's no way I could lift that and bring it downstairs tonight. Bates Motel, extremely well done, very well acted. Uh, I did fall off a bit in around the second or third season, and then I but came back and watched it, and very satisfying conclusion for this one here, Bates Motel. I love that show. Next up is one that rewatch Urban Legend, man. If you like Valentine, rewatch Urban Legend. They're both by the same director. Next up is the Hannibal. A lot of people wouldn't consider this like a slasher, but I do. That's kind of what he does. It is very much a psychological thriller as well, and it is brilliantly done. This is the second season, and it is my first season. My favorite season of Hannibal is season 2. But yeah, definitely check this one out, guys. Next up is one that does not get enough credit. I stand by this. Yeah. Oh, dude, if you haven't checked out Hannibal, please check out Hannibal. It's rumored that it's coming back for a 4th season, and they're going to be doing the Silence of the Lambs era of Hannibal. Mads Mikkelsen is now my all-time favorite Hannibal. Yeah, some of the best horror TV of all time. I definitely agree with Starlight there. He is and he is my favorite. Like, he beats Anthony. I'm sorry, he beats Anthony Hopkins for me. And it is definitely mind blowing. The Following. This is a series that started strong, and people fell off, ironically, from watching The Following. And I think that's a shame, because this first season is so freaking solid. I like Manhunter better than Silence of the Lambs, but I'm in a minority. John Lithgow was the best villain in Dexter, man. See this series. If you've not seen this, please give it a shot. Like, I'm not sure if it's on Netflix or if you go to your local video store and check it out. Manhunter is a Michael Mann film, and it really shows. And that is that's not detrimental. That is actually a compliment. He does a really good job with it. It is so good. Could feel it. Do you mean cuts as in editing, or cuts as in cuts? The twists in this one are really good. You never knew who was going to end up being a cult member, and that was great. And especially this has one of the best opening episodes for a series for me. Actually, I don't think it did. The season 2 should have been riskier. Should have took more chances in the way that when it goes away from this guy here, a lot of people were kind of like when Friday 13th went away from Jason. They're like, "Your dad rocks, Thomas. Tell your dad I said he rocks." But when they went away from this one, went to this new kind of like cult of serial killers. Some people were upset. Starting to lose my voice, so I'm going to have to stop soon. But honestly, guys, check it out, because the second season, I do like the girl that's in it. I think she does a brilliant job. Actually, I might rewatch this tonight. I really did like this. You mean Red Dragon? And I didn't like Red Dragon either. It's oh no. But there is one slasher series above all, as a slasher TV series. Like, there is one great that just beats any slasher TV show. Now, Hannibal's Hannibal, Bates Motel are in a league of their own, as in like being TV shows. But as in a slasher show, there is one pure, amazing slasher TV series. Do you know what it is? Do you know what I'm going to put up next? The very last thing that I'm going to show on this here. I'm going to give you guys a second to think. What is the best slasher TV show? No. Scream Queens was good. The second season was not. But yeah, I did like the first season. This. If you have not watched this, why have you not watched this? The only reason is if you've never heard of it. Harper's Island was exact. If somebody said, "Hey, what would it be like if a slasher slasher movie became a TV series?" It would be this. It would be this. The characters are well done. They're fleshed out. There's a if you like over the top kills, Town. If you like over the top slasher kills, there's at least one over the top kill in every single episode of Harper's Island. Trust me, you need to check this out. Do not read up on it. Don't find out who the killer is. Don't do anything like that. Go in blind and watch this. You've never heard of Harper's Island, Satellite Terror? Trust me, dude. You will thank me. Some of the actors that are in this are Katie Cassidy, Christopher Gorham. There's the guy from this is the one. Okay, this is the diamond in the rough, guys. Remember with those little hidden gems that you find? This is it. This only ran for one season. They had planned a second season, and they even had like the idea what the second season was going to be. I'm glad they didn't, because this works so well as a one-season show. Much like, and here's the thing, much like shows like American Horror Story and stuff like this, you get the complete story. They didn't rush it. They didn't like, oh, we're getting canceled. We gotta do it. This one came out back in, I'll find it for you here, dude, in 2009. It had webisodes as well, kind of like a prequel webisodes that were done. Watch it, go in blind. It's really well done. Yeah, it is Canadian, and you know what? It's shot in Canada, so I'll take credit for it. Canada will take credit for it. But yeah, there's a lot of like really good actors, a lot of good Canadian actors, a lot of good like American actors. Well, Katie Cassidy's in this one as well. Christopher Gorham is amazing in this. Basically, Harper's Island is the story of a guy and that goes back to his hometown. A guy and a girl that hasn't been there for a long time. They go back to this little island, Harper's Island, where they all lived, because there's going to be a wedding. One of her best friends when she was growing up, he's coming back from college and he's marrying his the love of his life, played by Katie Cassidy. There's a bunch of people on there with him. Everybody has their own like their stock character trope, but because it's a series, you can flesh these characters out more. I wouldn't say I don't know if you call it scary. Would you call any slasher like really like scary? But good, really well done. Harry Hamlin is in this as well. Actually, he has a role in the film. There's a few in the series, different, and every episode is highlighted by one specific kill. You see like in Scream, they'd have like a really cool episode where they have a kill in an episode in like 2 or 3. No, trust me. Don't just the reveal for the killer is really good. That's why I'm saying don't look it up. And it won't have the same effect if you know ahead of time. It can't. When I went and watched Harper's Island, I watched it on a weekly basis. There was no binging at the time. I watched this on TV when it came out. I actually, before this was a DVD for me to buy, I got it through nefarious purposes. And when this came out on DVD, I was there day one to buy this. This is one of those things that I bought day one. This one here does have commentaries on some of the episodes. It actually has the entire Harper's Globe webisodes on here as well, which I suggest watching after you watch the series. Just add a bit more to it. There's some featurettes on here. I kind of want to watch it again. It is so good, and so well done. Was one of the actors in Clash of the Titans. I'd have to look back. I mean, like, I'd have to see who was in it. So, and he always had like names of like kind of sound effects of murders, right? Like the first episode is called WAP, then it's crackle, kablam, bang, thwack, splosh, thrack, splat, sizzle, gurgle, seep, snap, splash, gasp, and sigh. Oh yeah, Harry Hamlin's in this. Oh, you mean the original Clash of the Titans? Yes. Yeah, he has a role in this. Actually, there you go. See him right there in the middle? very well done, very well acted, very well shot. Done, I'm guessing this was probably shot in Vancouver. It really looks like it was, and very atmospheric. Some of the kills are friggin' amazing. You wish that this was actual like a slasher film that you were seeing these kills. There's one with a split. Oh, I won't tell you. There's a church kill that is incredible. Check it out, guys. Let me know what you think of Harper's Island. I would really like to know your opinions on it, because it is, and you know, maybe it's me, maybe I'm blinded, but it's one of my all-time favorites. So there you guys go, with a 2-hour video, 120 minutes long. We have gone over at least a primer for slashers. There's a lot more slashers. Like Hoax said, 700 plus slashers in his master list. So there's a lot of other slashers that we will be going through over the time period. Now, always fantastic talking to you, Kubrick lover. You're awesome. You guys are all awesome there. Sculder, again, the tweet's amazing, and thank you for that. If I do inspire you to buy something, feel free to tweet it. That actually does mean a lot to me. As much as a thumbs up, as much as a video share does, it's always nice to see people that people actually are getting some cool stuff out of here. Sculder makes me want to get some black labels now. I want to get some black 101 films. So we'll see. Hopefully that they didn't steer you too around Kubrick Lover. I know we sometimes have differences of opinions with movies, and you do have a great opinion when it comes to movies. You do know your stuff. I am blessed with a movie club here that definitely knows their stuff. And I learn as much from you guys as you guys learn from me. Class of 1984. I've got the Scream Factory, but I really do want their edition. Are they going to have a poster? Because if they're going to have a poster, I'm going to have to get it. That actually means a lot to me, Thomas, because, you know, as you guys all know, the collecting of physical media is a super special thing for me. Anyway, I am Aaron. I got to get some food before I go to sleep. My voice is going, and I got, unfortunately, work tomorrow, and I can't take any more pain pills until tomorrow morning because I'm running low. So there we go, guys. Hoax, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for joining me here in the movie library. I'm Aaron. You guys are the movie club, and as always, you guys rock it. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all